Let's build the square rail. In the kit, we have zip ties, Velcro. We have the control mount. And here we have the wood. Let me put this aside. Here we have the wood. The motor mounts. Battery strap. This is the centerpiece. And this is our corner mounts. With this kit, you can build it either way, as an XRail, and we'll be using these parts, and of course the motor mounts. Or if you're building it as a square rail, we'll use this, 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 and this. And we'll save the motor mounts for later. So first of all, as we get started, we'll have it configured as a XRail, and then after that we'll finish up with the square rail. So let's get started. We're going to build the XRail first, and then the square rail. So we need this wood first. These are the center pieces, and I'm reusing these from another build. But first of all, we need to determine our strap. So we're going to cut part of this off, and that's going to allow us a place to put the straps. So all I'm doing is using a pair of wire cutters. You can cut these in quite a few different ways. Watch out for your eyes. Better. And then we'll cut that off. Now, you can cut these off in many different ways. I'm just using a pair of wire cutters, but you can, use a saw to cut them. Works all the same. You could use like a hacksaw or something. So again, watch your eyes. Point everything away from you and everyone else. And now you can file these down really smooth if you want to, or like I said, if you're cutting it with a saw, you can make a real nice cut with it. This is going to work fine for me. Okay, when it's done and put together, we'll have a battery strap that goes through here and through here. Let's go ahead and put these together. These pieces are like 10.5 inches long, and let me double check. Yes, 10.5 inches long. And with this setup, this build here, it'll give us a 250 millimeter build. Motor, center motor to motor, 200 diagonally, 250 millimeters. After this is put together though, or before it's put together, these can be cut down, and you can actually go all the way down to like a 180 or a 200 as long as your props are clearing, and we'll do that in a future video. But you can actually make these a lot smaller, so you can pretty much make it any size you want, from 250 to about 180, 200. You can also make these bigger. I've seen a few people make them pretty good size. So that's up to you. But today we're doing a 250. So you can see how the shiplap fits in. And then you put this piece. Now what we need to do now is drill some 1/8 inch holes. And we can do these separately at first. And let's go ahead and put it down. This part, again, I said I was, repurposing it, so these were already drilled. I think this one is the same, yes. So what you want to do is go ahead and drill all the holes out, or holes out, 1/8 inch to an 1/8 inch. Okay. And what we need to do now is drill straight through. So you want to hold your drill pretty good this way, level and everything. But the best way I found is go about halfway. And then we'll go from the other side. And that's about the easiest way I've found to, make them nice and straight through. Now, if you have a drill press, by all means, it's a lot easier to do it that way. But it works really good like this. Excuse me. I've drilled about halfway through now. You can see it goes straight through. Easy way to do it. There you go. My drill's getting a little low. I have to charge it up in a bit. There you go. Super easy way to do it that way. Half and half. Okay. Now in this packet where we have the controller, we're going to take the screws out and be careful. We have some spacers that we're going to use later whenever we install the controller side of it. So we're going to take 4 of these out. And we're going to get 8 of the nuts and some of the washers. These are some of the spacers I was talking about. I don't know if you can see that very well, but but just be careful you don't lose those. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the washers. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in a bag. If you have a place to keep your parts, it works out real well to put them in, or just do what I did. Okay, so this is going to be the top of the quad, and so we want this flush at the bottom. So we'll get a washer on all 4. A washer at the bottom and the top. And let's go ahead and put it through. And we'll put a washer on the top. And a nut on each one. We're not going to tighten them down real crazy yet, super tight, but we'll do that in a little bit after we get the controls going or installed, or about midway through. And actually, I only needed to pull out 4 washers at this time. I'll put those back. We'll be needing them or using them when we get to installing the controls. So I'm going to, snug them up a little bit. Tighten them up a little bit. You can just hold them with your hand right now. The nut, we're not going to go too far with it right now. Okay. Now we're ready to do the motor mounts. And if you're doing the X mount, you're almost done. And on the motor mount, you see a circle. That's where the injection molded part is pushed out. You'll see it if you have it in front of you. There's a spot right in the middle, and that's where we're going to drill our hole. We're using an 1/8 inch bit, and we're going to drill through. I've already completed these, and this is going to be the top, and your controls are going to fit in this area, and these are going to go on like this. We'll put them flush. We'll use our 1/16 inch bit, and we're going to draw a pilot hole in the wood. And so let's just make sure that it's flush, and make sure your fingers are away from you. We'll drill a pilot hole, or we'll drill a pilot hole there, and here. It's better to, put it like this. Make sure it's flush. That way to keep it away from your fingers. We're only drilling about halfway through, more than enough for what we need. It's just to keep the wood from splitting. Again, we want it flush. And we're ready to install the screws. And these are 5/8 inch long screws. These are number 4s. If you ever need replacements, of course you can get them from us, but you can go to any big box store, and these are easy screws to find. These are 5/8 of an inch long, and number 4. That's the diameter. Okay. We're finished up. They're all on. Your frame is ready. We're going to put this pad on a little bit later. This will be glued on. And this helps to put our battery. It gives us like a good place to put your battery. We'll put this on later. Your frame is built. You're ready for your motors. And now you're ready also for your control side. And this is opening for your battery strap. We'll put that on later. Now, let's go ahead and set this up as a square. We won't need these motor mounts. Let's go ahead and remove them. We'll need this wood. These are like 6 inches long. Okay, so you want to make sure that all these pieces fit in well. If you need to sand it a little bit, or if there's some debris in here to clean out, Just make sure it goes in really good and easy. And we'll get that started there. Just started. We have another piece, and again, this is the top, and this is the top. We'll start one here. And we'll line this up at the same time. And we'll start to push that in like that. Let's go ahead and do this. And we're going to start here and here at the same time. You just take your time with it. You'll see that they all go together well. Just take your time with it. And you have to do both at the same time, and you'll see it go together. We're going to do the same thing here. We put this one in. And again, key is to make sure that it goes all the way in, no problem. If you have to, again, if you have to sand it a little bit. It'll work better. We want to get this started. And we want to get this one started, be real easy with it. Then you start pushing down. And then you want to go ahead and get this one in. And now you can push on this one and this one at the same time. And you'll see it all goes together. Just keep pushing. And this one's in. This one's in. Okay. And there's your square. Now, you can go ahead and drill a hole here. These will not, you really won't need anything here if you secure it here. But you can drill an 1/8 inch hole here. Then use a 1/16 inch bit as a pilot on all 4 of these. As you screw them in, make sure that it's smooth as you go along the way, and you're done. I've flown it like this quite a bit with nothing, without any mechanical fasteners, and had no problems at all. It hasn't come apart. It takes a little bit to get it apart. You have to ease it like this, and what I'm doing with my thumb, I'm pushing up, and on the side piece, and as you go, you'll see it comes out. There. Same way to go back in. You're going to line this one up here, and then this one, and this one. Make sure you don't pull it too far, because these 3D printed parts will break on you at this point. After they're put together, pretty dang tough. But just be gentle with it doing this. And then after you get them all lined up, you'll see that it goes together. And put a screw in here and on around, and you'll see how we're really locked it in that way. In fact, let's try it. I normally don't do this because I haven't had a problem, but let's do it. So let's find a nice place to put this, and it should be about the center here and the center of this piece of wood, center of the plastic piece and center of this one. And what I can do for the future pieces, I can go ahead and build that hole into it, and that way it'll always be there. You won't have to worry about that. So we want to make sure it's flush. I'm just pushing down on here. Make sure you keep your hand clear of the back. And we'll drill into the wood. That's our good old 5/8 long screw. Well, this is probably the best way to do it, just to make sure, you know, if you have some pretty good crash, which you're going to have them, that's part of it, that it doesn't, you know, mess up too much or come apart. But I haven't had that problem. Middle of the wood, middle of the plastic piece, and I'm just drilling through the plastic at this point with an 1/8 inch bit. So you got to be a little careful. If it's shy of the plastic, that's good. You'll put your 1/16 inch bit in and drill through the wood. So be real careful with the 1/8 inch when you go through the plastic. It doesn't take much to go through there. It's about 3 millimeters you're drilling through. So just, you know, be gentle with that. Don't push too hard, and you'll be good. Let me go ahead and get these others in. And again, making sure this is flush. Okay. And there we go. Let's clean this up. Let me take these screws. I'll put them back. Now you're ready for motors and your controller setup. And there's your XRail. We'll see you next time.